What's up guys, Peepo here, and today I am going to be doing a review of the new, brand spanking new to the market, hot shingles you say, Maverik Lacrosse Optik 2.0. Yeah, that's right, the 2.0. I was for the longest time I was wondering if Maverik was going to actually go ahead and to the whole 2.0, 3.0 style of branding, because a lot of other companies have done that. Warrior's done the 1s, 2s, and 3s. STX has done their Power series. There's been a couple 1s and 2s and stuff like String Kings Mark 1s, Mark 2s. There's a series of heads. And I'm really happy to say that Maverik decided to bring it back, their oldie but goodie Optik head with the Optik 2.0. Now, this head has a lot of different concepts shoved into one when it comes to the different technology that Maverik uses in their heads these days. If you're very familiar with Maverik heads, you'll see that it is a very similar face shape, scoop. Looking at it from the front, without really knowing too much, you would think it's a kinetic. It's not. The sidewall struts are very different. It doesn't have a single one going down there. It actually has the very tried and true 2-bar strut system that the Optik 1 had, and then it is cut out here at the bottom, whereas the original Optik was pretty much solid plastic here at the bottom. It is nice and cut out, which is technically a 3rd strut, and then a fairly cut out throat area. It's kind of hard to tell since it's a black head, but it is a fairly decent cut out throat area to where you can actually put leathers through and tie it off and whatnot. A single screw hole, which makes sense since the Optik is known for a pretty short throat area for you to get your hand as close to the ball for positive control. Although I really do like heads that have 2 screw holes. But I never really had a problem with the original Optik with 1 screw hole, so my point is a little mute on that. Like I said, face shape, carbon copy of the kinetic. And the thing is, a lot of people that I know, and I've strung a few of them actually, the kinetic is more for your mid to mid-high pocket, but I strung a decent amount of low pockets, mid to low pockets in it, and it took it really well. And I'm really glad they took that face shape and turned it into a low pocket setting head, because just kind of how it plays out works so well for the offset, the bottom sidewall bar setting where it sits lower. I believe it's a 2 setting. Let me make sure. 2 setting. 2 strut design. Technically 3 if you want to. Level 2 bottom rail. That's right. I wanted to say 3, but I don't know why. But so it's a level 2 bottom rail, which means the curvature is right about here, this area, to help where basically the pocket will bag a little lower. I kind of strung this one to kind of sit here instead of all the way down here. But all in all, it meets that criteria as far as that. They brought in the tension lock from the kinetic as well, but they changed it up to where instead of it just kind of juts, and if you know what I'm talking about, if you look at a kinetic, there's kind of just this lip that causes you to have to kind of change up how you string. But with the Optik 2.0, what they did is, instead of that weird little jut going on, let me see if I have a kinetic here. Aha, yes I do. Instead of having this jut right here, like how this is a little wider than here, they have a curvature. You can't really see it because it's a black head, and I already strung this head anyway. But as you can see, hopefully you see, yeah, more or less. It doesn't have that jut system for the tension lock. This is the tension lock. This is the original one, but the new one is more curved. It curves outward or inward, whichever way you want to kind of think of the concept, to allow you to still string normally how you kind of normally would on a head, but it allows you to have a little bit tighter of a top for your pocket to create your channel and so on, which is what you want when you have a head that's supposed to be catered more towards the mid to mid-low pocket setting. So it helps enable you to string that while locking down your knots and so on. It has the angled sidewall holes. They're like I want to say a rhombus, so like a diamond that's kind of flipped onto its side and not quite even. But if you string your knots really tight, or in my opinion, the right way, you string your knots really tight, it locks into that top corner of the sidewall hole, and just locks your pocket in place, lets the mesh do the work instead of your sidewalls moving around a whole bunch and whatnot. The bottom hole setup is just 4 holes, much like the original Optik. They're angled though; they're not kind of cylindrical. They're angled much like how the sidewall holes and the top holes are. Top holes are a little bit bigger than most of the other heads on the market from Maverik right now. The Kinetics top string holes are definitely a little bit smaller. Hopefully you can kind of tell the difference. Here, I'll hold one both in front of my forehead, and hopefully you can tell the difference. But more or less, the top string holes are a little bit bigger in order to fit leathers, and as you can see, I used a top string thick nylon cord to definitely protect it, which kind of moves us into the scoop. It has a little bit of an angled scoop to where it's rounded off. It like juts back a little bit to give you a little bit more protection of your top string. If your coach is letting you rake the ball, they're wrong. You got to scoop it. So that helps because of the angle of how the back of the scoop is. When you're coming in on the ball, it protects your top string. So nothing too fancy there. It's just a little bit playing with angles to allow your head and pocket to last a little bit longer. If this was a white head, there's definitely plenty of space and angles and lines and surfaces, nice flat surfaces. There's not a whole bunch of complication going on here to where if you want to dye this head, if it was white, you could dye it all sorts of different ways. There's a bunch of different dyed ones out there right now. Strings up really well, like I said earlier, and I might get another one. I'm pretty sure I want to get another one and put a traditional in it. If I were to put a traditional in this, I think it would be gold. Like, really good with a traditional. All the holes will be perfectly sized for that. There's plenty of sidewall holes for whatever pocket you're trying to do. And then your bottom holes are definitely big enough for traditional. Although, yeah, I would have to say the bottom holes are decent enough for traditional. So, as a 2.0, this head is really good in comparison to a lot of other 2.0 heads that are out there. They used a new plastic for this, so it's called like DuraTough. It's supposed to pretty much be more durable in different temperatures, which is really good. Talk about the colors real quick for you. They have the white, obviously they have black, and they have gray, and then they have that hyper light blue, which is like that neon blue that they got, which is pretty cool. But not a lot of people. I've met some people that are like, that's a disgusting color, and I'm like, okay, what do you want me to tell you? Okay, you don't like the color, get you a different color. Some people like it. I happen to like blue, hence my walls. But really good head. I really like it a lot. In fact, I'm gonna put it back on my shaft and screw it in for my video. It's on a lax room shaft, but yeah, really good head. I can't wait to see what people do with it, especially the pros. I know a few pros were, I believe, using it this past season. Even if they weren't, you will see all the Maverik schools. I'm sure all the attackmen should and really will use this head. I really like it a lot. And yeah, hopefully I get to see a bunch of people tearing it up with this thing, whether it's men's league or high school or middle school or whatever level you play in. I hope I get to see a lot of these ones because Maverik really did a great job with this one. So thanks for watching, guys. I will check you later. Check out the new Maverik Optik 2.0. Okay, I'm done. See you later, guys.